That's it. I'm done being their ATM. I stared at my phone screen, hands trembling as I canceled the monthly $1,500 transferred to my parents' account. 3 years of draining my own savings, stretching my budget thin, all while they never once asked how their grandson Jake was doing. The final straw? Thanksgiving Day, watching my sister Vanessa grab Jake by the shoulders and spit those venomous words. Your mother is a bad person who doesn't care about family. You'll probably turn out just like her. My 9-year-old son's tear-streaked face still haunted me. Flashback. 10 years ago. The divorce papers had arrived on a Tuesday morning, crisp and official, just like Mark himself. I can't do this anymore, Nellie, he'd said, running his hands through his hair. Your family. They're consuming us. Every time we try to save for our future, save for Jake's college, there's another crisis, another emergency. Your sister needs a new car. Your parents need their roof fixed. When does it end? It hadn't ended. Not even after the divorce. Mark, to his credit, remained a good father. We'd worked out a schedule. He'd pick Jake up from school with his flexible graphic design work, and I'd collect him after my long hours at Wilson and Clark Trading. We kept things civil for Jake's sake, but Mark's words echoed in every monthly transfer I made to my parents. Present at the department store, Mommy, can we go to Grandma and Grandpa's this weekend? Jake's voice pulled me from my thoughts as we browsed the toys section. I miss playing Minecraft with Emily and Zach. I checked my phone calendar, noting it had been exactly 28 days since our last family dinner. My stomach churned at the thought of facing Vanessa again, her passive-aggressive comments about my failed marriage and her perfect family life. Sure, honey, I forced a smile. I'll call Grandma tomorrow. Flashback. 3 years earlier, Dad's voice had cracked over the phone that day. Nellie, we need your help. The company's downsizing. I'm losing my job. I'd rushed over that weekend, finding Mom hunched over a stack of bills, her arthritic hands shaking as she sorted through overdue notices. The house smelled of desperation and stale coffee. How much do you need? I'd asked, already knowing I'd give whatever they asked. Just enough for the mortgage this month, Dad had mumbled, unable to meet my eyes. I'll find something else soon. But he never did. One payment became two, then three, until it settled into a monthly routine of $1,500, transferred like clockwork every first of the month. Saturday morning. Oh, that's wonderful. Mom's voice brightened over the phone. Vanessa and her family will be here too. I'm making pot roast. The words hung in the air like a threat. Another family dinner meant another round of Vanessa's subtle jabs, another evening of watching my parents dote on her children while barely acknowledging Jake's achievements. Sunday afternoon. The drive. I can't wait to show Zach my new Minecraft world. Jake bounced in his seat as we drove to my parents' modest suburban home. I built a whole underwater city. I glanced at the apple pie on the passenger seat, store-bought, unlike the elaborate homemade desserts Vanessa always brought. Another reminder of my failures in their eyes. Vanessa's SUV already occupied the driveway, its proud parent of an honor student bumper sticker gleaming in the afternoon sun. I parked on the street, taking a deep breath before facing the inevitable comparisons. Inside the house, Jake darted upstairs to find his cousins, their excited chatter floating down the stairwell. I found Mom in the kitchen, her back to me as she stirred something on the stove. Hi, Mom, I said, setting the pie on the counter. She turned, her smile barely reaching her eyes. Oh, Nellie, you brought pie. Vanessa made her famous chocolate layer cake from scratch. Of course she did. From the living room, I heard Vanessa's animated voice. It's a sure thing, Dad. This food truck concept is going to revolutionize our area. No one else is doing authentic Filipino fusion cuisine. I bit back a laugh. Robert couldn't even pronounce adobo correctly, let alone cook it. At dinner, kids, put that tablet away, Vanessa commanded as we gathered around the table. Her diamond tennis bracelet, an anniversary gift from Robert, caught the light as she gestured. So, we have big news to share. She beamed at everyone except me. Robert and I are starting our own business. Here it comes, I thought, cutting into my pot roast. A food truck specializing in Filipino fusion cuisine, Robert announced proudly. My grandmother left me all these amazing recipes. That's wonderful, honey. Mom gushed. You've always been so creative. Dad clapped Robert on the shoulder. About time you became your own boss, son. Vanessa cleared her throat. We just need a bit of startup capital. About $150,000. The room went silent. My fork clattered against my plate. We'd love to help, sweetheart, Dad said slowly. But we just don't have that kind of money right now. All eyes turned to me. Nellie? Vanessa's voice dripped with false sweetness. What about you? I know you got a nice settlement from the divorce. You and Mark were saving for a house, right? Internal struggle. I took a sip of water, buying time. The truth was, I did have money saved, but it was earmarked for Jake's college fund and my retirement. After supporting my parents for 3 years, I couldn't afford to throw away my financial security on Vanessa's pipe dream. I'm sorry, I said firmly. I don't have that kind of money to invest. Vanessa's smile cracked. What do you mean? You make 6 figures at that fancy corporate job. I have my own expenses, Vanessa. Jake's education, our future, our future? She interrupted, her voice rising. What about our family's future? Or does that not matter to you? The argument escalates. I'm already supporting Mom and Dad, I pointed out, trying to keep my voice level. I've been sending them $1,500 every month for 3 years. That's different. Mom interjected. We needed that help. And we need this. Vanessa slammed her hand on the table. This is our chance to finally be independent, to build something real. But you're too selfish to help your own sister. Jake and his cousins had stopped eating, watching the adults with wide eyes. Have you done any market research? I asked, desperate to inject some reason into the conversation. Do you have a business plan? The failure rate for food trucks is incredibly high. You're just jealous. Vanessa exploded, standing so abruptly her chair scraped against the floor. You've always been jealous that I have a real family while you're divorced and alone. The word alone hit like a physical blow. That's enough, Vanessa, I said quietly. No, it's not enough. You sit there in your fancy suits, looking down on us because we didn't go to college, because we don't have your precious MBA. Well, at least I didn't fail at the one thing that actually matters. Keeping a family together. The walkout. Come on, Robert. Kids, get your things. We're leaving. Vanessa grabbed her purse, her face flushed with anger. Vanessa, please. Dad tried to intervene. Sit down. Let's discuss this rationally. There's nothing to discuss. She's made it clear she doesn't care about family. Vanessa glared at me one last time before storming out, her family trailing behind her. The aftermath. An awkward silence fell over the table. Jake looked at me with worried eyes. Mom? Are you okay? I'm fine, honey, I lied, forcing a smile. Dad sighed heavily. Nellie, your sister has been dreaming about this business for months. You know how much it means to her. I stared at him in disbelief. Dad, they have no experience, no business plan. It's financial suicide. It's about supporting family, Mom said quietly, not meeting my eyes. I've been supporting this family for 3 years. The words burst out before I could stop them. When is it enough? When do I get to think about my own future, Jake's future? That's different, Mom repeated, her standard refrain. How? How is it different? No one answered. 2 months of silence. The call started the next day. Vanessa, Robert, both of them together. I stopped answering after the first few attempts at reasoning with me turned into verbal abuse. The text messages were worse. Selfish bitch. You'll regret this when we're millionaires. Some sister you are. Jake will grow up knowing his aunt tried to destroy our dreams. I blocked their numbers. Jake's questions. Mom, why don't we go to Grandma and Grandpa's anymore? Jake asked one evening, looking up from his homework. How could I explain adult pettiness to a 9-year-old? Sometimes grown-ups need space from each other, honey. Like when you and Dad got divorced? The question caught me off guard. Not exactly. Your dad and I. We still care about each other. We just work better as friends. But you don't want to be friends with Aunt Vanessa? I chose my words carefully. Aunt Vanessa is very angry with me right now because I couldn't give her money for her business. Oh. Jake considered this. Is it a lot of money? Yes, baby. A lot of money. More than my college fund? Smart kid. About the same, actually. He nodded solemnly. Then you made the right choice. Dad says college is important. Thanksgiving preparation. As November approached, anxiety gnawed at me. We'd spent every Thanksgiving at my parents' house since Jake was born. The thought of breaking that tradition hurt, but the thought of facing Vanessa again hurt more. Wednesday evening, I found Jake looking at old photos on his tablet. Last year's Thanksgiving, all of us around the table, even Mark had joined us that year. Mom, are we going to Grandma's tomorrow? His hopeful expression broke my heart. I don't think we're invited this year, honey. Because of the fight? I nodded. But it's Thanksgiving. Family is supposed to be together on Thanksgiving. Out of the mouths of babes. Thanksgiving morning, I woke early, determination overriding anxiety. Jake was right. Families should be together on holidays, regardless of petty disputes. I'd go, extend an olive branch, try to mend fences. I spent the morning making Mom's sweet potato casserole recipe, the one she'd taught me as a child. Jake helped, carefully arranging the marshmallows on top. Do you think they'll like it? He asked, his face hopeful. They'll love it, I assured him, praying I was right. The arrival. The driveway was full when we arrived. Vanessa's SUV, my aunt's and uncle's cars. My stomach clenched, but Jake's excitement pushed me forward. He rang the doorbell, bouncing on his toes. Mom opened the door, her welcoming smile freezing when she saw me. Nellie, we weren't expecting you. It's Thanksgiving, I said simply. We always come for Thanksgiving. She hesitated, glancing over her shoulder. The sounds of laughter and conversation drifted from inside. Well, come in, I suppose. Jake, your cousins are in the basement. The confrontation. I barely made it to the dining room before Vanessa appeared, her face contorting with rage. What is she doing here? She demanded, glaring at Mom. I held out the casserole dish. I brought sweet potato casserole. Mom's recipe. Vanessa snatched it from my hands, and before I could react, marched to the kitchen and dumped the entire thing into the garbage can. We don't need anything from you, she spat. Get out. Vanessa. Mom gasped, but made no move to intervene. What's going on? Dad appeared, looking confused. She showed up uninvited, Vanessa snarled. After everything, she thinks she can just waltz in here like nothing happened. The basement incident. I heard Jake's laughter from the basement and moved toward the stairs, desperate to at least let him enjoy the holiday. Vanessa beat me there. Emily. Zach. Come here right now. The children looked up from their video game, confused. You are not to play with him, she said loudly, pointing at Jake. His mother is a bad person who doesn't care about family, and he'll probably turn out just like her. Jake's face crumpled. Mom? His voice quavered. Something inside me snapped. How dare you speak to my son that way? This is my parents' house, Vanessa shot back. I'll speak however I want. Dad appeared on the stairs. Nellie, I think it's best if you and Jake left. I stared at him in shock. You're taking her side? She just traumatized your grandson. You've caused nothing but problems lately, he said coldly. If you just helped your sister like we asked, none of this would be happening. The departure, I gathered Jake, who was crying silently, and headed for the door. As we passed Mom, I paused. I can't believe you're letting this happen. Your own grandson. She finally met my eyes. You brought this on yourself, Nellie. Family supports family. At Mark's parents' house, in desperation, I called Mark. Within minutes, he'd invited us to his parents' house. Of course you should come, his mother said when we arrived, enveloping Jake in a warm hug. There's always room for family. The contrast was stark. Here, Jake was cherished, his achievements celebrated, his presence welcomed. We played board games, shared stories, laughed until our sides hurt. I always thought your parents favored Vanessa, Mark's mom confided as we cleared dishes. Even in college, It was obvious. I never wanted to see it, I admitted. Sometimes the family we choose is more important than the family we're born into, she said gently. The decision, that night, after tucking Jake into bed in our apartment, I opened my banking app. My finger hovered over the recurring payment to my parents. For 3 years, I'd bled myself dry trying to buy their love, their approval. For 3 years, I'd enable their favoritism, their toxic dynamics. No more. I canceled the payment. 2 weeks later, there must be some mistake with the bank. Mom's voice was tight with panic. We didn't receive your transfer. There's no mistake. I canceled it. What? You can't do that. I can't, and I did. After what happened at Thanksgiving, I'm done enabling this toxic dynamic. Toxic? We're your parents. Parents who let their other daughter traumatize my child. Parents who chose sides instead of keeping peace. Parents who only call to check on their money, never their grandson. You're being vindictive. I'm setting boundaries. Something I should have done years ago. The office confrontation. They showed up at my workplace the next day, desperation etched in every line of their faces. Please, Mom begged, tears streaming. We'll lose the house. You've had 3 years to figure out your finances, I said quietly, aware of colleagues watching. I can't keep sacrificing my future and Jake's future for your choices. Family helps family. Dad shouted. Family doesn't emotionally abuse children, I counted. Please leave before I call security. As they were escorted out, Mom called back. Your sister was right about you all along. 1 month later, I ran into my cousin Rachel at the grocery store. Your mom's been calling everyone, she said, rolling her eyes. Trying to get money for their mortgage. And Vanessa's been hitting people up for her food truck scheme. Let me guess, I'm the villain in their story? Rachel snorted. Please. We all remember how Vanessa's always been. Remember when she tried to charge admission to her own baby shower? We laughed, and for the first time in months, I felt lighter. Evening conversation with Jake. Mom? Jake looked up from his homework. Are we ever going to see Grandma and Grandpa again? I sat beside him, choosing my words carefully. I don't know, honey. Right now, we need some space from them. Because they were mean to us? Because sometimes, loving someone means protecting yourself from their harmful behavior. But no matter what happens with them, you have me, your dad, and Grandma and Grandpa Miller who love you very much. He considered this. Like how I stopped being friends with Tommy after he kept breaking my toys on purpose? Exactly like that. Okay. He returned to his homework, then paused. Mom? Yes? I'm glad you chose me. Tears pricked my eyes. Always, baby. Always. 6 months later, the last I heard, my parents had taken out a reverse mortgage to keep their house. Vanessa's food truck dream had evolved into a different scheme. Something about cryptocurrency this time. As for Jake and me, we were thriving. Without the constant financial drain, I'd started saving properly again. Jake's college fund was growing. We took our first real vacation in years. A week at Disney World, just the two of us. Standing in front of Cinderella's castle, watching Jake's face light up with pure joy, I realized something. I hadn't lost my family. I'd finally found it. Family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about love, respect, and mutual support. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from those who don't understand that. Closing. That evening, as Jake slept peacefully in our hotel room, I opened my banking app one more time. The balance showed more money than I had in years. But more importantly, it showed something else. Freedom. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from manipulation. Freedom to build the life Jake and I deserved. I smiled, closed the app, and went to bed. Tomorrow was a new day, and for the first time in years, I looked forward to it.